Hey guys, so I'm going to do a trying to conceive update number 1. Last month in March, at the end of March is when my husband and I really got on board with both of us wanting to try and conceive for baby number 2. I was the one that took the longest. My husband's been ready for a couple of months. But I finally decided it was time, and so the first step was going to get my IUD taken out. I had gotten that put in when I was 7 weeks postpartum. So last month, once we both were ready to start trying, I scheduled the appointment with my doctor. The first available appointment I could get was like right after I ovulated. So last month I couldn't actually start trying. This is our first month trying. So it was kind of frustrating having to wait an additional 2 weeks to start my next cycle, and then, after starting my cycle, you still have to wait 2 more weeks until I'm gonna ovulate. So needless to say, we've been like twiddling our thumbs and just kind of waiting for this cycle to start. So my cycle started about a week ago, and this will be our first month trying to conceive. In the past, with my daughter, it took us about 2 years to conceive her. We have some fertility issues. I have polycystic ovary syndrome, which, if you don't know what that means, it just means that I have a lot of cysts on my ovaries, which makes it hard for my body to ovulate, which is generally caused by an imbalance of your hormones. And so for some women, it's really painful. For me, it's not really painful. It just causes fertility issues, and my cycles are generally irregular. I don't know when I'm going to ovulate, but once I do ovulate, I always start my next cycle 14 days after I ovulate. So once I start my new cycle, I can look back and say, okay, I ovulated 2 weeks before this, so 14 days before this. But at the start of my new cycle, I have no idea. I didn't have any idea how long it would be before I would ovulate. So it was really hard for us to try and plan when I was going to ovulate. So when we would do the most baby dancing time, intimate, I don't know what you want to call it, but when we would take advantage of the ovulation period. So we struggled for 2 years trying to get pregnant with my daughter. I had lost a bunch of weight. I used to be 254 pounds, was my highest weight. Before we conceived my daughter, my pre-pregnancy weight with her was 180.2 pounds. So I had lost a considerable amount of weight. My OBGYN had told me that if I lost even just 10% of my body weight, it can increase my fertility. So that was a big goal of mine in losing weight, was so that we could get pregnant. But we had tried out fertility medication, and after 6 months of trying with the fertility medication, upping the dosage once in the middle, after 3 months, we tried the fertility medication for 3 months. It didn't, we still wasn't pregnant. So my doctor upped the dosage, and we tried for another 3 months, and that didn't work. I ended up getting really sick. And so I had stopped taking any of the medication I was taking. And it was at that point in time, after getting sick from that illness, I realized I no longer wanted to be taking medication, and went the more holistic and natural route that I am living now. At any rate, so I wasn't taking the fertility medication for about 6 months when we conceived my daughter. So I don't know if there was a shift in my hormones or if it was from losing weight. I don't know, but after I was ill, or when I got ill, we stopped trying to conceive, obviously. And then once I was finally recovering from being so ill, the first month that we started trying to conceive afterwards, we got pregnant with my daughter. So that was that story. Now I have been tracking my cycles, and they were still very irregular. They were ranging anywhere from 24 days to 30 plus days. January, I started doing the paleo diet all out, and noticed a big shift in my cycles ever since then. And ever since starting the paleo diet, I have had regular cycles, 27-day cycles, every single month. So this is I've now had 4 cycles that have been right on the schedule. And so that was an incredible shift. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that the paleo diet has been known to help balance out hormones, or if something else happened. I don't know. I'm going to say that my hormones are doing a bit better. I like to contribute it to my diet, but I have no scientific proof behind it. But I'm convinced. So my cycles are regular now, and I have a better idea on when I'm ovulating. I'm also way more aware of my body now than I ever was in the 2 years that we were trying to conceive our daughter. I am able to tell when I'm getting close to ovulation. I'm able to tell when I actually ovulate. And that is something that is extremely helpful when you're trying to conceive. So I'm hoping, yay, first month trying, we can just get pregnant. But we, have struggled with fertility issues in the past. My husband, actually, when we were struggling in those 2 years, they did test my husband's sperm, and they did say that it was in the normal range, but at the low end of normal. So what we do now, and this is what we had done when we actually conceived my daughter, is when I get closer to ovulation, what we do is every other day we're intimate. And so since I'm aware of when I'm supposed to ovulate now, I make sure that the day I'm supposed to ovulate, we're supposed to be intimate on that day, and then just track back and every other day, so I don't, because my cycles have been irregular in the past, I want to make sure that we are well within that window of ovulation. So we start being intimate way before ovulation and continue being intimate way after ovulation. So we've got a good solid chunk of fun times. So that's what we do, and we'll be intimate every other night, so that we have a night in between for my husband's supply to build back up before we are intimate again. And that worked well for trying to conceive my daughter. We got pregnant the first month trying when we did it like that. So fingers crossed that that's what happens again. I am getting closer to ovulating, so that's really exciting, and I will just keep you guys updated on what happens, and hopefully this month is a good month and we can have a spring baby, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'll keep you guys updated. What am I trying to say?
Dating fertility?
Nah, I don't want to say that. I don't want to sound too scientific about it. Anyways, is that the right word? Contribute it to my diet? When we start doing the okay. I don't want to
do the darn thing.
I do the darn thing. I don't want to say like when we start having sex. I don't want to say that, but I don't want to be like doing the dirty, doing the nasty. Like I feel like a 12-year-old.
When we start making babies.
I know. When the beds are rocking. Like.
You're such a goof.
When it's getting closer to me ovulating. Oh.
When I get closer to ovulating.
I can't talk. Being serious, no. What? That's not cool. What am I trying?
When the time comes for us to do the thing.
No.
That makes the thing.
When I get closer. Would you stop? Shut your mouth.